Hello, my name is Mariana Santiago, and welcome to my podcast. It's Mariana Making Sense. You decide. Episode number 11. Overthinking. Overthinking is a problem that happens to many of us. And it's when we just go around, and around, and around, and around, and around on the same subject. It's insane how we put ourselves in that loophole. It's like a punishment that we decide to put ourselves in. And it usually happens when we cannot change something that it's in the past because, as we all know, we cannot change the past. Maybe because you had a great opportunity and you didn't do something and you missed it. So then you're like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. And you like build up all of this as scenarios. But the fact is that didn't happen. So we are our ogre. We are our worst judge. When you maybe had an expectation of something and it hasn't yet arrived, it's not coming as fast as we want, or maybe it didn't come at all. So we go into doubting ourselves, and I think that's horrible. The fact that we doubt ourselves, we doubt the fact, like the actions that we took, that the words that we said, whatever. And especially when we tried our best, right? Which I would say it's most of the times. Also, when we maybe did a mistake, we did something that was not good, and we maybe affected other people. So we start seeing how we could have jeopardized their lives or put them in danger for something that was our mistake, right? So I feel like those are dangerous spots where we go with our minds, because it's only our creativity and only our imagination that can put us in that little cell, in that little jail. Or even at work, when we're trying to deliver a project and we're trying to hit that sweet spot and that perfection and everything, and we just redo the same project and we delete stuff and we do the first project, draft number 2, draft number 3, whatever, and we don't get to that fulfillment. And it's crazy because, again, we waste so much time on this. And then we may arrive to the final proposal super tired, grumpy. And again, it's us who do this to ourselves. It's insane that we willingly put ourselves there. And the reality is, as I said, we cannot change the past, and we also cannot control the future. We cannot control what is going to happen next. We cannot control what is going to happen tomorrow, especially if it depends on other people. If it depends on ourselves, maybe, and still, life sometimes throws things at us that we cannot control. Also, when we're on these situations of overthinking and more people are involved, we think for others. We're maybe that person's thinking this, maybe I did that and that person's thinking that, maybe what I said affected them this way. And the fact is that we don't know what's going in people's minds at all. It's we put ourselves in this soap opera that we are the ones that produce it. We are the main character, we are the victims, we are the villains, we are everyone there. And it's insane because we put so many different scenarios of things that could have happened, that maybe had a bit of a twist, and most of all of those scenarios are bad. I would think that if we're on that loophole, it's because we're not happy with what happened. We're not happy with the outcome. We are doubting ourselves again. And again, that is the worst thing that we could do. If we did something, we have to be sure that we did it for a reason. We also go and tell our friends. We're so this happened, and this is what I did, and this is what this person replied, and what do you think? We're always trying to validate what we did or what we think with them. We need that reassurance. We need to see if they think the same thing as us, and we're not as crazy as we think. And for what? For absolutely nothing. Because at the end of the day, we go back home with the same thing over and over again, with the same violin playing in our heads. And the worst part is that if we got our validation, like the validation from our friends, we're, I think, at an even worse spot, because it's like, well, she thought this, he thought that, maybe I'm not that crazy, and you're giving even more attention to it. You're giving even more time. So it's insane how much we look for that validation to our theories, because it's all theories. Like, again, how much energy are we giving to this? How much time? How much worry are we putting in this little silly situations that we cannot change? So I was a person who used to overthink absolutely everything. I would see it from like 15 different points of view. I would go to every friend I had, to prove that I wasn't crazy, to prove that what I was thinking was right. And it was insane how much time I was giving on the day to this same story, to the same thought, to the same situation. Over the years, I've learned to improve in minimizing the time that I'm dedicating to this. But last year, I feel like I nailed it. I nailed the technique on how to control this constant thoughts to coming into my head and not be like, Mariana. So when I see myself in a situation where I wake up and like something is bothering me and it's in my head and I'm like eating and it's here, you kind of like fight it, right? You're kind of like, okay, go away. You're kind of like analyze it. And then maybe you're at work and the exact same thing happens. But because we're so busy throughout the day, we actually don't give it time. So what I do now is that I go and give it time to this thought. Either in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, I go to my quiet place and I give, let's call it a meditation time to the situation. I evaluate absolutely everything that happened. I evaluate everything that I am questioning about myself. I talk me to myself to myself. I'm like, listen, Mariana, what happened? What is it bothering you? And again, once you have that conversation with yourself, I know it sounds crazy, you can evaluate where those thoughts are like, you can see and ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Why is this annoying me the entire day? Why does this keep coming back? And once you give it time, you analyze the entire situation from end to end, you will take either your learnings, your lessons, or maybe absolutely nothing, because sometimes we didn't do anything wrong. It's just we need to ease those thoughts. We need to calm those thoughts and say, you know what? I gave it time that needed. I gave it thought. I sat down. And once you're done, stand up and let it go. Let it go. Put it away in your files. Put it into the archive folder and say, you know what? This is done. I went through it, the entire little detail. This should not come back again. And if it does, because remember, thoughts will come all the time. But it's up to you, up to me, and up to you, and up to us to decide how we take this thought. Do we entertain it? Do we not? So if this thought comes again, because it may happen, you can say, you know what? I already evaluated this entire situation. I don't want to do it again. It's like at work. Do you discuss the exact same thing that was fixed over and over and over again? No, because you got to move on, right? So let's not be our worst judges. And again, let's learn to give space to those situations that bother us and take whatever needs to be taken out of those and let it go. Be like, peace out, motherfucker. And ciao, ciao. So, my people, if you think somebody can benefit from it, I sure would have recommended this podcast to myself years ago to see if I was stop being so annoying. If you think somebody can, again, benefit, like it, your friends, your family, whoever, share it and subscribe to my channel. Give it a like. You can hit me up at Instagram, Ella es Marianita, and YouTube, Mariana Santiago. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Mwah! And have a great week.